Okay team, welcome back. We're just about to start round 7 of Swiss and the commentary team will be with you shortly.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final round of Swiss in Battle Hardened, Auckland. You got your dynamic duo, Kieran and Mr. Classic, and my main man, Newson, here. And we've got our first Briar on stream for the day, I believe. So we've got Dane versus Josh. And cool thing, Josh is a younger player, only started playing in January.
Oh, really?
And and he's made top 8 of Battle Hardened, so a huge shout out to him for doing that.
Oh, there we go. My favorite play. Rabble into a blue.
Rabble revealing it.
Always feels very bad.
Yep. And this is when you say, of course. Okay, so it looks like he's going to make a rune chant and then just chip in for, looks like 3 arcane damage.
Yep. So he'll be taking the free arcane because of the no arcane barrier and then block out, I guess.
Yep, so that is one slight dunk. So we have seen some players play Tide Flippers because they like to go against just the Lava Burst or the Salt the Wound.
Yep.
And they just get the side benefit for the Arcane Barrier. So that is a bit of a cost to playing the Snapdragon Scalers here over those Tide Flippers.
Turn win for a big turn. I see Auto War, I see Belittle.
Now, do you think there's a world where he maybe sets the Art of War in Arsenal to go for like the big 5 card go off next turn? Oh, no.
So recently, the European champion.
Yep.
Have you watched his deck?
It was very good. Yep.
Yep. He explains that you basically have 3 to 4 turns to beating Briar, but after that, Briar just overwhelms the 5 player
And outvalues you. Yeah.
That's why he chose to play Blossom, because of that reason. That he needs to try push as hard as he can, so Briar just can't. He needs the tempo before Briar does.
So one thing to note here is he's actually started with the Belittle instead of the Art of War. I guess you can play Art of War at instant speed anyway, so it's fine, right?
He probably didn't have a blue. So
right, yep.
By enabling the blue from Belittle, he can Art of War now.
And he maximizes the value out of it, doesn't he?
And he gets Searing Ember Blade as well. Whereas if he goes Art of War first, he might not draw the blue.
Yep. So. Very well put. So, okay, so that's coming for 5 damage right off the bat. And now he has, like you pointed out, a very nice turn set up here. So I think that's Red Run and Renegade I can see. It's coming in for 5 damage. High 5. Okay, now it'll be interesting to me to see if Briar chooses to defend it all, or just take basically all of the damage and say, like, I'm going to try go for like a big mountain turn or something. Okay, Searing Ember Blade, taking 3. Now let's see if he ends with the...
High 5.
Okay, Bram with Cinderclaw.
Oh, he's blocking with Tunic.
Sigil Suffering, I like that.
That's something spicy.
That's a nice 5-life swing here as well. So I feel in a race matchup, it's actually really relevant, the fact that it pings for 1, as well as protecting your life total.
Now, because he blocked with Tunic, he's trying to turn off this mask.
Yeah, now we did speak about this in earlier games, didn't we? Of holding on to... Of holding on to the Mask of the Pounce Links a little bit too long. So it's coming for 5. So this one is going to hit.
Okay.
And he is getting the Mask of the Pounce Links. Okay, so did he run out of...
He still has 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, with committing all the equipment, we did think he might consider blocking that one out. Just one minor thing on the sequencing here, Newsom. We saw it in a previous game. Do you think potentially it might have been best to end with the Bram with Cinderclaw, just to get that 1 extra damage from the Salt the Wound if he's getting that by giving it Draconic? Oh wait, no, it doesn't matter. There's no spreading flames this game, so who cares?
Josh fixing the life. So this Salt will be coming in for 2, 3, 4.
So one thing I suppose to note here, because every point of life is so important in these race matchups, perhaps by pushing the equipment here, he's just like, look, you have one big turn. I mean, you're going to pop up everything. I know you're fetching Salt the Wound, so every attack I block is effectively blocking for an additional, life point.
Yeah.
So by blocking in that way, he saved himself 2 life from the Salt the Wound.
Now, okay, so Tome.
So he's got 1 card in hand at the moment, so he's going to go up to 4 cards in hand. Now, I feel he really needs to make this turn count, doesn't he?
He needs to do a lot of damage. Oh, that's... So he's Sift. He needs to catch up on the life difference immediately. So, but him using Sift... Okay. Alright, so...
Okay, that's big.
So coming for a Snatch for 1 Arcane and 7.
No equipment blocks available here.
Yeah, Josh just taking it because...
Okay, so it looks like he's going to draw from the Snatch here. And I feel like Earth Blue's probably the dream, right? To drop down Mountain, but... Oh!
Yeah, so... Even though he got his Mountain set up, he is on 15 life. Josh has 4 cards and Snapdragon Scale.
He does have 4 cards. He doesn't have any of the equipment available. There's no Stubbies. There is no pouncing links.
Oh, I see an Art of War again.
Is that another Art of War? Okay, this could be painful. I feel getting the blue Earth card there is very big though, right?
Yep, it was very big, but I'm just scared that Dane won't have any cards left in his hand.
Do you think you feel Josh might be able to represent lethal here?
I do think so, yes, because 4 cards and 4 card fire hands are usually around that 15 life total.
Okay, let's see what he's able to string together here. So this, I feel, is the old guard, the old powerhouse aggro deck that Channel Mount Heroic Briar.
Alright, so double strike.
Okay, I think Dane's probably pretty happy with that.
Okay, electing not to use Art of War yet. Is that?
I don't think
that is the Art of War, right, Kieran?
I don't think so. Sorry, the glare on the sleeves might be throwing you off a little bit. I don't think he did have it, unless...
Yeah, it is.
Oh, no,
it is
you're right. Sorry. So it looks like he's going to save that for next turn.
Oh, maybe... Oh, that Command Conquer.
That would have been a high impact
That
card.
would have been a super impactful, man.
Okay, now I feel like, with 4 minutes into the round, I feel Josh is set up very, very nicely here. There's just absolutely no way that Dane's representing lethal in this spot.
And technically can.
Okay. Maybe I speak too soon. That's true.
Coax a commotion, snatch. Oh, but he doesn't. Oh, he just uses snap, drain scales. Alright, so he's gonna make a rune chant. It's not a good sign. Swarming? Yeah, okay. So that's coming in for 7.
7 and 1 arcane.
So it goes to 12. And then Rosetta. Wait, what's his weapon?
Rosetta Foy. You're right, I did speak too soon saying there's no way he could deal lethal. There's Channel Mount Heroic, like there are ways to do it, but I feel here...
I feel like he needed to keep that Command and Conquer.
Yeah, to threaten away that Art of War, right?
Yeah.
I can see him wanting to block the Mounting Anger because of his life total there, because he had the efficient block with the grass, but that played him perfectly to Josh's game plan of arseling this last card.
Josh is going to go ham. The little again.
Okay, we've seen this movie before.
Yeah. And then he's gonna Art of War.
Yep. So he just said, "Wait, hold on a second. We've got some.
I'm
more
not
fun.
done yet."
This feels it's going to force out multiple cards from hand, right? Like he really wants to strip at least 2 cards. So I feel he may get more than that.
This might be, this might be game carrying. Oh, Drew Blaze Headlock. Is that Blaze Headlock or Mounting Anger? I'm not too sure. Yeah, this might actually be game carrying.
That's true. Like Brian does run. He does have the embodiment of Earth up, but this is going to be a lot of damage coming through. Oh, that's coming. Oh, the spreading flames. That is absolutely brutal here. Okay, so he does have the embodiment of Earth up, so that is blocking for...
So he's Ronin Reginade, Rising Resentment, and a blue. Yep. So
Okay, we'll see if he's able to pick up the Phoenix Flame before the Searing Everblade to get that additional damage out.
yep. So he's using Phi.
Yep, so just some good sequencing here. So this Phoenix is getting +2, that's coming in for 3. Oh,
Oh,
and there
yeah.
we go, the hand is extended. So that is the risk of us putting the Briar vs. Phi on stream. We did kind of want to feature the Briar player because we haven't had a Briar on stream all day. And
Yep.
it feels like one of the decks that if Phi slips just a little, doesn't get a very, very good start, like you were mentioning, like Sebastian, I believe, mentioned in the Deck Tech video, if they're able to establish that Mount Heroic and have one really big turn, they take your big turn and come back and kill you.
Yep.
That can be how they push through. But Josh was having none of that. He goes off on turn 1, deals a whole ton of damage, and then that is that.
Like I was explaining, right? Dane got his channel Mount Heroic out.
Yep.
But since he's on 15 life already, and Josh is on, I think he was on 30 something life.
Yep.
The life difference is too much.
It is so much like
Josh knows that Dane can't do 30 damage to him.
Yep.
But Josh can do 15 damage to Dane.
Yep. So just being able to, like we mentioned, even if he'd managed to keep that CNC, you know, he would have taken 3 extra damage on that turn. And I feel potentially it's not ideal, but you could just let the Art of War die and then just come in and throw a whole bunch of damage anyway.
I think that was what he was going to do anyway.
He may have also not had a way to sort of efficiently get, in the chain with the Command and Conquer there. But yeah, just.
I do think it was strange where on Josh's big turn, he defended the Phoenix Flame, he defended the last
Blaze-
attack as well,
Blaze
but he
Headlong.
didn't defend the Blaze Headlong, enabling Josh to use Mask and threatening another 9 damage.
Yeah, because it felt like potentially there he could have blocked that out and
Yes.
then not taken the Salter Wound, and then all the big equips are gone. I mean, obviously the Mask of thing is then saved for another turn.
But it won't have +3.
Yep, and then it means like the the follow-up turns where they sort of pop the Mask of the Pouncing Links. At least it's like you were saying, not in combination with everything else. Yeah, I do think that's one sort of interesting interaction there that 5 players may get caught out on sometimes, just trying to say that Mask of Pouncing Links is just one chain link too many, and then getting caught out by players blocking into it. Like we say, we kind of thought that might be the plan he was going for there, but things didn't quite work out.
Alright. Yeah, but I think these two. So Josh is locked into top 8 now, and I'm pretty sure Dane has a very good chance of making top 8 too.
Yeah, both these players were X1, so Josh, as we say, is certainly locked for top 8, and we feel, Dane is likely.
Yeah, probably in a good spot, right?
Is to still be there. As far as the top 8 metagame goes, it looks like we're pretty, we can't absolutely guarantee it, but we know there's going to be 2 Bravos.
Yep.
It looks like there will be an Oldham as well.
Yep.
Then I believe 2 to 3 5 players.
Potentially 4.
Potentially 4 5 players, and
Maybe Dane.
Dane on Briar. So take that with a grain of salt until everything's locked in. But that's likely looking like our top 8 here, with the potential for potentially 1 or 2 of those to shift if the breakers go a little bit funny. But yeah. Okay, so that was a fairly quick game. Should we play a bit of Fab Trivia? Or you said I got one for you.
Alright.
What is... actually, no, I don't even know if it's right anymore, so we'll skip that.
Alright, sweet. Thanks.
Alright, so... Yeah, I mean, as far as upcoming events go, we've got Battle Hardened Portland coming up in a couple of weeks' time. We've got the Calling Singapore, and then, of course, the big kahuna. We've got the Pro Tour in Europe, France and Lille.
Looking forward to those events.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely epic. I think, obviously the big highlight on the calendar is that second Pro Tour.
And then after Pro Tour, we have Nationals.
National season coming up into Worlds. So now I know I believe the next ban and restrict announcement is due. I believe it was August 30th, but don't quote me on that. I thought I read that in the last article, but I
think it is after the Pro Tour.
Yeah, but it's after the Pro Tour, so I think the thing on people's minds is Prism going to make it through to the road to nationals? To the national season and everything. I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, because I have heard some discussion that the existence of Prism is holding back a few of these fly counters, perhaps decks like Bravo or Alden that might be quite good into it.
Yep.
But not so much the case today, because I don't think we have any prisons threatening to top 8, and the Bravos are all there.
Yeah, the Bravos, I think, are first and second seed.
Yeah,
So it's pretty good on them.
Yep. Well, anyway, it looks like, that was a short and sweet game. We'll take a quick break. What we might do is, if everyone sticks around, we might see if we can wrestle someone up for an interview to break up a bit of the time for the next round. And yeah, we will be back with ideally an interview sometime next sort of 10 to 15 minutes. And then the top 8 coming up after that. Right, well, thank you, everyone. We will be back shortly. Hello everyone and welcome back to Battle Hardened Auckland, and I've got with me in the commentary booth now community superstar, legend, only undefeated player in Swiss, Cayle McCreath, rocking the 7-0 on what is Azalea, is it? Or Dash? No, it's Bravo Showstopper, of course it is. So, Cayle, I know you've had a pretty big role in organising the fundraising event last year that was played online due to sort of COVID involving international people. Now, do you want to just give me a bit of background, like what prompted you to get involved with that and sort of go out and have this idea?
Yeah, look, it's pretty well documented. My old man, got diagnosed with cancer and eventually passed away. We're sitting there having a few drinks with Matt, and I think even you were there.
Yep.
It was a drunken idea that I had, all these boxes of Monarchs just sitting there. We're like, let's raise some money for Cancer Society. It was just an idea that everyone seemed to get behind, and just, through the work of everyone involved, Matt and Nick Butcher, it just blew up.
Yeah, because how much did it raise last year? It was in the tens.
55,243, if I'm correct.
$55,000 for cancer. That's absolutely amazing, and it was a really cool event. It was it's funny, at the time it was one of the biggest international events that Flesh and Blood had, I think, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I heard someone who doesn't play anymore, apparently they won it. Don't remember the name though.
Oh yes, Mr. Classic, a legend. But okay, well that's a bit about the background for the event. But moving on from that, I just wanted to ask you about basically your thoughts on the metagame at the moment, because obviously Fire's been doing very well recently. So we saw it won both the Calling Utrecht and it won the European Battle Champions event sort of just before that with a lot of Europe's top players. Then today, though, obviously you've gone 7-0. I think you've played some number of Fires today?
Yeah, 3.
3 Fires. What are your sort of thoughts on the matchup? So do you, because obviously you came prepared for the Fire matchup. How are you dealing with these Fire players? Like, what are your thoughts on the matchup in general?
Yeah, so the first thing, I think the meta is in a really healthy spot. I think we're in a position where you've got these 3 or 4 decks that are competitive tier 1 decks, but you also have the ability to play decks that you know really well.
Yep.
Everything is, well, apart from Azalea, is able to be built to beat something else. So I think it really is like a deck builder's format at the moment. But in terms of the decks that are seeing success, everyone sees these 50 damage, like Fire Dream turns that I'm yet to see actually happen in person.
Oh yeah, we saw a good one on Stream last turn. But
it's like everyone's building that deck in a way to exploit something that happens 5 to 10% of the time. I think with what we've seen with the Stubbie Hammerers ban, I think you're going to find that the Fire builds are going to become a bit more refined to get a bit more value over time and inherently become a better deck. I think with that in mind, the current format going into the Pro Tour, you're going to see about 7 or 8 viable heroes. It's just wide open.
Yeah, because the thing with Stubbie Hammerers is obviously there's been a big reaction from the community on both sides. Some people are very happy, some people aren't so happy about the ban. But so what you're telling me is, because I know on the extreme side people saying it's killed Vi, the deck is now unplayable, and I feel, am I right in saying you completely disagree with that?
Oh look, don't get me wrong, the Stubbie Hammerers turn is powerful, but is it really worth building the whole deck around? I don't necessarily think it is. I do think it's a bit unfair that someone can sit down and lose on turn 0, so I think losing it for that reason. But the current builds that have to play a few turns and then, that's whatever.
Yep, oh, that's fair enough. Now, I've seen some of the discussions online, in Discord groups, on Facebook, that kind of thing, around certain Bravo builds. Some cards that people have mentioned are things like Crush the Weak and Chokeslam. I just wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on those cards? Because clearly Crush the Weak, I can see why people suggest it because it can help shut down the Fire turns. Chokeslam's similar because it shuts down like the Art of War, Spreading Flame, Stubbies things. As a very long time Bravo player, what are your thoughts on those cards?
Yeah, well, the good thing about Guardians, you get this whole range of blue commons that actually have utility.
Yep.
It's not just swing a hammer and dominate a crippler, although that pretty much is all you do.
Yeah.
But, Crush the Weak itself, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that card. I think you're pigeonholing yourself into a card for one specific matchup that you're already favoured against.
Okay.
I'd prefer, I'm playing the suite of Chokeslams at the moment instead of the Crush the Weak because it has more utility into like a Briar, for example, or into Lexi. So just having that card as a one-card play, from Arsenal off a Surge token, you can just completely disrupt your opponent's turn. In previous formats we've had, Bravo decks have had to be built where you need 3-card disruptive plays, but at the moment the format is so quick you need to have 1-card disruption.
Now, I just want to follow up on that comment when you're saying the format is very quick now, because obviously, metas change over time. Like I mentioned, you've played Bravo since the game begun, basically, so you've seen a lot of different metas come and go. Are there certain cards that you played in previous builds? Ones I might be thinking of things like Blessing of Deliverance, which previously I know you're a big fan of. Are there cards like that you feel just aren't good enough to play in the current format because the format's a lot quicker?
Yeah, so at the moment we are in a faster format where you either have to be fast with your disruption or you need to be fast in terms of go wide. If the format slows down a bit, you will see a more traditional, like a Blessing Emboldened deck come back that wants to go tall. Those type of decks are more relevant in formats where you have to push over like a block plus a reaction type thing. And it's just not that format at the moment.
Okay, now another talking point has been recently is we all saw Prism fell about 2 points short of hitting that Living Legend threshold. Now, some discussion I've also heard is centered around the fact that it feels that Prism, just by its existence, warps the meta a little bit because it can crowd out some of these decks that are very, or that might be good into Fi. Things like Bravo, which you obviously feel is a good matchup into Fi. People, fear that Prisms may sort of scare off some of the Bravo and older players, for example. Your thoughts coming into today, I know we have some very good Prism players in Auckland. Do you feel that's still a very difficult matchup for you?
Well, I think the way that the format is situated, the Prism players know that 40 to 50% of their opponents are going to be on an aggro deck.
Okay.
I think any Prism player that wants to turn up and go 7-0 or go 10-0 or something through an aggro field, you can't play the standard, 20 cards that don't block.
Yep.
You have to be able to play in a way where you can apply pressure and then establish your board while you're going. I think given that how bad the matchup into the aggro decks are, and the fact that the Prism players have to adapt, there is a way to build Guardian decks where you can apply the same type of pressure and then it comes down to 1 or 2 plays at the end of the game where you can swing it.
So, can I summarize by saying, sort of the previous Prism builds were sort of incredibly difficult for Bravo to the point that it was quite hard to beat them, but with the builds having to adjust to the aggro meta, you feel, would it be fair to say it's still a difficult matchup but that you have windows to win?
Yeah, it's still difficult. It's no longer a 90-10 matchup.
Yep.
I believe if the Bravo player goes first, it can be a 40-60. It's still not favoured, but you have a chance to win. You can just apply pressure. Cards like Pulverize and Zealous Belting, just allow you to really put that pressure on.
Yep, no, absolutely. The other question I want to ask is obviously, there's more than one Guardian in the format. There's Oldham, who was played to great success against multiple metas, and has been seen by a lot in the community as sort of this anti-aggro hero because you have access to disruption. You've got ice cards, you've got Winter's Wail to create frostbites. The ice reacts, earth reacts, all this sort of stuff. What sort of prompted you to basically, I just want to know what's behind your decision to stick with Bravo over a hero like Oldham.
Okay, honestly,
Yeah.
I have been too busy the last year and a half after my old man passed. I've had to sell a business, I've had to close that down, I've just sold the family home and had to shift my parents out of that. I've also had a daughter break her leg and
sorry
little
about
things
that.
like that. I've just been so busy that I'm not even playing much Fab at the moment. I go to Armory one night a week just to get away. I'm working 70-hour weeks. So I'm just, there's no time. And I think with a hero like Oldham, you really have to sit down and play, 500 games just to get a feel for what you do at this point in time. Because if you crown at the wrong time, anything like that, and you get blown up by an attack react, little margins like that are going to cost you games.
Absolutely. And over the course of sort of a longer tournament as well, for example, there's so many decision points, there's so many things in heroes, and that's the thing, people, it's good to, I'm glad you said that, because it's good to remind ourselves that, you see these top Fab players, but it's not like they're Fab playing robots. There's stuff in real life that you have to do, and you have to build around, and I think it's kind of one of those things that, even if, and I'm not saying you think this, but even if, say, you thought maybe Oldham had a 5% edge over playing a Bravo into a certain meta, the fact that you've got so many reps into Bravo means that it's just much better for you to play this hero.
Yeah, the current state of Fab, as I said before, I really believe you can play a deck that you know well, and you can increase your win rate by about 15 to 20%. For me, with the experience I have with Bravo, there's three people in the room today that ran my exact list. They've had similar matchups and they've done horribly. And it's not saying, oh, I'm a better player than them. It's just the fact I have that experience.
Yep.
Like, I've had a couple of them watching games and they're going, why did you do this at this time? And then you do different things for different reasons, and that just comes with repetition.
Yep. And it's one of those decks that I feel it's quite methodical, right? You can generally get to execute your game plan, and if you know exactly what you're doing, you can usually get to those spots.
Yeah.
Yep, no, that's fair as well. Yeah, I suppose sort of, I just wanted to ask you briefly about some upcoming tournaments, because I know Pro Tour Lille, which you mentioned multiple times on stream today, is in France. I believe you are going to that event?
Yes, I don't have any visa issues getting into France. I can travel for that one. I'm taking the missus and kids with me.
Well, that should be fun.
So if I win the event, I'm only down about 10k.
Yeah. And any, do you want to drop any hints of what you'll be playing, or are you keeping that a bit closer to your chest up at the moment, which I totally respect?
Oh, look, I've gone 3 years being a dedicated one trick. I'm not going to change anytime soon.
Yep.
I think we'll have to get the guy Living Legend before I'll switch or retire.
Yep, no, that's totally fair enough. All right, then, well, again, thanks for coming along and joining me in the booth and just, outlining a little bit of the logic behind why you've chosen to play Bravo and your sort of thoughts on the format at the moment. I guess the final thing I wanted to ask is, do you feel, because obviously we've had some big events, so far. We had the Calling Utrecht, we've got Battle Hardened today, we've got Battle Hardened coming up in Portland. I will answer the question soon. And a few other ones. Do you feel that there are some sort of hidden deck builds out there that some of the top teams are sort of hiding a little bit, that they're saving for the Pro Tour?
Well, look, I definitely think there's a couple of decks running around that can turn up and take people by surprise. I think a well-built Kano is...
the Kano at the Pro Tour showed that, for example.
Yeah, but, everyone's playing the AB3 or Oasis, but I still think there's another way to build that deck yet.
Okay, very cool. And I suppose just finally I want to say, I thought your point on saying that people are able to build a deck they enjoy playing, they like the play style, they have plenty of reps in it and do well. I think that's really, really cool. And I just want to give a few shout outs to people who have done that as well, exactly, because, we've seen people like famously, Yuki Bender playing the Lexi hero, which he's very well known for. I know Joshua Lau, who I've mentioned earlier, out of the US, played Bolton, won a road to nationals on Bolton. Of course, I have to mention the man, the myth, the legend, Ethan, Van Sant,
Levia.
The Levia player, won 2 road to nationals on Levia. I know even there was a Katsu player out of Poland that won the only road to nationals that Katsu won this season.
Yeah.
Bartek, I believe he actually runs the local game store. He hosted Polish Nationals last year. So I think that really points towards what you're saying, is in that if you really enjoy a hero and you put plenty of time into it and you really take it down for certain metas, it's not that, I'm not going to say every single hero is tier 1, that's just not the nature of the game, but I feel you are able to pick up a bit of an edge and do really well in it. So I just wanted to shout out the people who stick to the heroes they know, like, that they really love and enjoy playing and are doing really well. Keep on doing what you're doing, because I feel you're a bit of an inspiration for everyone else out there who has maybe a pet hero that has fallen by the wayside. And who knows, maybe it's Alia. Well, she hasn't got there yet, but oh well.
Yeah, nah. Next set.
Anyway, Cayle, thank you very much for joining me. We will be back with the top 8 in probably about 20 minutes or so. Once this round finishes and top 8 is announced, maybe some deck checks. And... okay, looks like I got that wrong. Man said it's correct to me, he won 1 roads, not 2. So I did mess that up, so sorry about that. I think he made the final of another one. But thank you for sticking... Wait, we'll be back shortly.